In this video, we are going to talk about movie scenes that actors regret doing. So before starting this video, please like this video and subscribe to this channel for our future updates. In order to be successful in the acting industry, you must be versatile and prepared to push the boundaries of your comfort zone. While immersed in a role, things are done that the actor himself would never contemplate doing, yet they must be played as naturally as possible. The majority of the time, this daring pays off in the shape of an outstanding performance that is admired for years or even becomes cinematic history. Sometimes, on the other hand, it might turn into a complete nightmare for everyone concerned. Examples of the latter are shown below, and they are very painful. Burt Reynolds' deliverance from a pain-free existence. Despite the fact that Deliverance is a great drama about man versus nature and other men, it's most known for a moment that's far too explicit to discuss here. Contrary to popular belief, one of the performers is the only one who has shown open regret about breaking his buttocks in a completely different way. When the canoe that Burt Reynolds' character is paddling goes over a waterfall in the film, it is considered a success. Reynolds was adamant about not using a dummy, despite the wishes of director John Boorman. He insisted on performing his own stunts, and went down the waterfall alone, landing on rocks that crushed his tailbone. He was essentially the concentrated essence of 1970s macho. Add insult to injury by failing to provide a more lifelike effect and failing to achieve greater authenticity. Kate Winslet's autograph agony. In 1997, the namesake ship, the Titanic, went down in a phenomenally successful romantic dramatization of the catastrophe. It's packed with unforgettable scenes, including one in which Kate Winslet's Rose character requests Leonardo DiCaprio's Jack to draw me like one of your French girls, which is one of the film's most remembered scenes. It's an emotional scene in which her character triumphs over her fiancé and mother's criticism to assert her own agency and embrace the man she's fallen in love with despite their opposition. Still, bizarrely obsessed followers attempt to coerce her into signing naked images of herself, and she would dearly desire for this to cease. "I don't sign that photo," she said in an interview with Yahoo News. "It's an extremely unpleasant sensation. Why would you do something like that?" Winslet is now 41 years old, a happily married mother of 3 children, and a multi-award-winning actress who has appeared in numerous films. She is perplexed as to why certain segments of her fan base are still so infatuated with this one particular image, even decades after it was taken. Even Eva Mendes gets intimidated. It is the third and final installment of director Robert Rodriguez's Mexico trilogy, with Johnny Depp as CIA agent Sheldon Sands and Eva Mendes portraying a cruel AFN agent who betrays him. Both of them end up kissing before the former fatally shoots the latter. It's a fairly awesome scene, to be honest. On the other hand, Mendes has one particular regret regarding the sequence in question. She appears to have had a long-standing romantic interest in Depp and wishes the kiss had been more prolonged. "I was completely intimidated by him," she admitted. Terrence Stamp's missing scene partner. During the first act of The Phantom Menace, which is the first of the much-maligned Star Wars prequels trilogy, much of the action takes place in the Galactic Senate, where various debates take place that eventually leads to the establishment of the totalitarian empire that dominates the original trilogy. Terrence Stamp portrays Chancellor Valorum, who is forced to resign in favor of the secret Sith Lord Palpatine after Queen Amidala, represented by Natalie Portman, issues a vote of no confidence in his leadership. The Senate hearing is only slightly more fascinating to watch than a real Senate hearing, but it's critical to the broader storyline, or what passes for one. After professing his passion for Portman, Stamp was first enthused by the prospect of collaborating with her on a project together. In reality, when he got on the set, Portman wasn't anywhere to be found, and he was taken to a piece of paper tacked to the wall and informed that this was, for all intents and purposes, the actress with whom he was expected to interact. His dissatisfaction could be felt in the room. Afterward, he was alleged to have said, "It was just kind of dull." Sharon Stone felt basically deceived. In the film Basic Instinct, Sharon Stone stars as Catherine Trammell, a writer-turned-murderer. In this performance, the character is played like a classic noir vampy type, who is readily manipulated by the males in her immediate vicinity. A sequence in which she is interrogated by police is particularly effective, as she utterly disarms the officers with wit and irony and eventually with nothing more than a simple crossing and uncrossing of her legs, which reveals her lack of underwear before escaping with her life. It's a classic dramatic scene of power reversal, and Stone had no idea how it would turn out until she saw the finished picture for the first time in theaters. She later alleged that director Paul Verhoeven told her on site that her underwear was interfering with the shot and that she was instructed to remove it. The filmmaker stated that the scene will be full of fun innuendo and that there would be nothing graphic to be seen. This, of course, turned out not to be the case, and Stone was so taken aback by the picture the first time she saw it that she claimed she smacked director Paul Verhoeven in the face. Bruce Campbell has a bloody awful time. In both front and back of the camera, Evil Dead 2 was a bloodbath, and lead actor Bruce Campbell was constantly smeared in gallons of sticky gore throughout the film. Campbell stated in his biography, "If chins could kill, Confessions of a B-movie actor, that all of the artificial blood made him miserable, and that he was partially to blame for this. I had insisted on using the classic, time-tested Caro syrup mix from the first Evil Dead film out of sheer stubbornness," Campbell explained. "Although the aesthetic effect was impressive, I quickly became the object of every fly in Wadesboro's affections." The sequence where a torrent of blood comes out of a wall and lands on Campbell's face, bathing him in blood, was particularly difficult for Campbell. Campbell appears to be standing straight in the scenario, but in reality, he is lying down, and blood is being poured into him from a massive drum floating above his head. While Campbell was a little concerned about suffocating, filmmaker Sam Raimi didn't let that deter him from being doused in 55 gallons of synthetic blood. "I made it out alive," Campbell recalled, "but for the following 2 weeks, every time I blew my nose, the snot was a vivid crimson color." Elliot Page's character makes a bad joke. During the course of the 2007 popular film Juno, the titular pregnant teen, Elliot Page, makes the decision to give her baby away to a wealthy couple, Jason Bateman and Jennifer Garner. And it's during a scene in which Page's Juno and Bateman's Mark are discussing possible baby names that things start to go sour for the two of them. Page, who spoke with Bustle, deeply regret this scene since their character makes a homophobic joke. When Bateman suggests that the kid might be named Madison, Juno expresses her displeasure by saying, "Isn't that a little gay?" "It wasn't something I was completely aware of at the time," Page admitted to Bustle. "But of course, now that I'm older, I'm more aware of it. In so many of the movies I enjoyed as a child, there is blatant homophobia, transphobia, and biphobia, and I'm not excusing it in any way." Page came out as transgender in 2020, and he has been an outspoken supporter of LGBTQ+ rights for a number of years prior to that. Many years after the film's premiere, Page performed a reading of the Juno script for Planned Parenthood, and when they reached that part of the script, they cut the phrase completely out of the script totally. Denzel Washington gets all wet. The Equalizer, which is based on a 1980s television show, stars Denzel Washington as Robert McCall, an unassuming widower who works at a hardware store and enjoys reading classic literature in his spare time. Not that he has much of it, because he's constantly on the run from bad people. McCall, a former CIA agent, is dragged back into action when a young woman, Chloe Grace Moretz, is brutally assaulted by Russian thugs, and McCall is forced to intervene. This sets off a conflict between McCall and the mob, which eventually culminates in a brawl in a tool store. After enticing the bad guys to his employment place, McCall employs various deceptions and methods to eliminate them one by one until the job is done. At some point, an explosion triggers the sprinkler system, resulting in a great scene in which McCall brings down the villain with a nail gun, while looking immensely badass as he is doused in fake rain and water drips down his stone-cold face, as seen in the trailer below. The actor, who spoke to Cinema Blend about his dissatisfaction with the tough guy stands there in the rain notion, acknowledged that he had grown tired of the concept after 3 days of shooting for 13 hours a day. Even though he was soaked to the skin, he couldn't help but be envious of director Antoine Fuqua and the rest of the film team, because they put on raincoats and they're not getting wet. While the stars get all the attention, the gaffers and lighting technicians can enjoy a comfortable off-screen existence. What do you think of our video? Let me know in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video and want to hear from me again, be sure to hit that subscribe button before you go. Thanks for watching.